Good evening to the 12th grade students, parents, and high school counselors. Thank you so much for joining in for the Admissions 101 workshop series hosted by Knowledge at KPT. We also like to thank Mr. Prabjot Singh from the University of Southern Maine for being an esteemed panelist for today's workshop session. And the topic, as you know, is going to be tips for writing letters of recommendation. And of course, towards the second half of the program, Mr. Singh is going to be speaking about his esteemed institution, which is the University of Southern Maine. As you may have known, I would also like to share some housekeeping rules with you. Please ensure to post all Q&A questions in the Q&A box and not in the chat box. So it will be very easily accessible for Mr. Prabjot Singh to access all your questions. And I'm sure he's looking forward to answering many of your questions and also, of course, getting to know you and, of course, keeping in touch with you well after this webinar program is over. Having said that, Mr. Prabjot Singh, it is my immense pleasure to welcome you to the workshop session. Thank you once again for your kind time and support in joining this workshop session and for hosting it. We know you have a very hectic schedule and of course campus has started now, so we truly appreciate your valuable time. I'm now going to hand over the stage as well as the microphone to you for the presentation. Thank you once again and I wish you the very best.
Thank you. Namaste, Sat Sri Akal. And I'm very excited to be presenting to you. I am a Senior Associate Director here at University of Southern Maine. And I graduated from a school in Maine. I've lived in Maine for 20 years. And I will share my screen and we will talk about tips on letters of recommendation. Obviously, some of you are students, so discussing how to write a letter of recommendation doesn't really apply to you, but the process and how important a letter of recommendation is something we will discuss today. So this is very basic, by the way. I'll let you guys I'll be very honest. Oh, there we go. All right, so first things first, I love to talk about myself and my background. So I'm going to do that first. And I will share with you that I was born in Punjab, but at the age of 3 months, my family, or my mom, I should say, moved to be with my father in Ghana, West Africa. So I've actually grown up in Ghana. I always tell people, you know, the cover of the book is Indian, and the story is not from India, it's from Ghana, although there's been a lot of traditional Indian, you know, upbringing and everything else. So I have a very diverse background. I did about 17 years old, I moved to the US. I also coach soccer. I'm a big football guy. I love Arsenal, if any of you follow English Premier League. I'm a diehard Arsenal fan. So I play soccer, I coach soccer now. I do that on the side alongside my admissions job. So family man, got 2 sons and very proud of them. They're growing 8 and 5 years old. So, so let's move into the process of admissions. And I've had about 14 years of experience in higher education and with international students as well. Being a former international student, I kind of understand the process and everything else. So I've kept this presentation basic as far as the letter of recommendation. And this, what I've added here is, you know, obviously you need your application, and every school either has a application fee or not. There's the essay. I do want to point out that the essay is specifically a way for you to share who you are. Sometimes students stress so much about, you know, what to write about or trying to really impress an admissions counselor or director. I would recommend you do not do that. ये stress की बात नहीं है, ठीक है? अपनी story बताओ. We want to know who you are, and who best knows you than yourself. So share who you are, tell us what you enjoy, because we really want to get to know who you are. The letter of recommendation is what we will discuss, but it is a way for us to deep dive into you from another perspective. Transcripts are your grades, obviously. If your high school does not have the transcript in English, we always ask for a translation as well, because I'm not the only one that reads transcripts. There's others, and not everyone can read Hindi or whatever language your transcript may be in. So we need the original as well as the English translation. Test scores, we will discuss more during the presentation about the school, but right now we're test optional. So that means we don't require tests other than like a TOEFL or IELTS, or what some people call IELTS, we will use those scores to determine English proficiency. We can discuss more again, and any additional docs. So sometimes students will submit a resume, or if you want to do theater or theater, music, you have your interview and audition and that sort of stuff. So you'll have documents for that. So tips to do and not to do, all right? A letter of recommendation can it can make or break an application, to be honest. Even a top quality student can get denied. You may have your transcript showing that you're an A student, but A student kam ye matlab nahi ki sab great hai, So if you're, we want to know who you are, and if you are not an ideal, what some schools will call a fit, it may not work out. So you can see this little image I've posted here, but it kind of engulfs the whole image of that letter, both from a student's perspective and staff. So the process, I want to focus more on the academic recommendation letter because that is more what we will be reviewing. As a student, who do you ask? Do you just ask your guidance counselor? Do you ask teachers, a coach if you like sports? When I was doing it, I definitely made sure I got a letter of recommendation from my coach. He had played for the Ghana Black Stars. And so I wanted to play in college, and so I knew I wanted a letter of recommendation from him, but that letter I did not send to my admissions process. I sent it to the soccer coaches at the schools I was applying to. My guidance counselor and teachers, I certainly had that in my admissions packet. Why? So why are you asking those individuals? If you are a strong math and science student and you're only asking biology and your biology teacher, physics teacher, math teacher. So in the US, we have a liberal arts education core at many schools. So you're gonna have to take psychology, you're gonna have to take some art courses, So if every recommendation is from a science professor and all, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But what we like to see is your kind of, they say hardworking student. So we want to know, when there was a challenge, how did the student overcome such challenges? So if you pick let's give another example. If student picks a chemistry professor and chemistry may grade unko C+ mila or a B-, right? Everything else is in the high A's and B's, a B-, C+ mila on chemistry, for instance. So why are you asking that professor? And that professor may share with us that, chemistry was a tough subject for the student. However, they were hardworking. They showed up to study lesson or tutoring sessions, study sessions with their classmates, so that they could do the best they could in this course. That sort of stuff means a lot to us as admissions review committee. We look at that. So the purpose and why kind of go together, right? What is the purpose? Letter of recommendation is not always required. It is something that we can encourage you to submit at some schools. Some schools will tell you, yes, it is required, especially if you're looking into scholarships and that sort of stuff. So more to come. For the teachers and guidance counselors, first thing you have to put down is a response. Is it a yes or no? If a student comes to you and says, I want to have a letter of recommendation, the automatic answer is not always yes. And if you do that, be sure that it is yes. If you don't know enough about the student, Have that discussion with the student. If you are not in favor of writing this letter, please let the student know. हमारा future तो है, student का future is important. Therefore, if you don't want to write it, kindly decline, explain why. In my profession, I have given recommendation letters to my former student athletes. I've done it for students. I've also had to say no. I knew a student on a personal level really well. She played soccer, was a good athlete, but I knew that, when she asked me to write a letter of recommendation, I was like, I will politely decline, because her work ethic in our office, she worked in the office, and I was like, I don't see the student being committed. I cannot put my word out there for someone to then turn around and say, like, the student doesn't show up to work, or they don't, whatever. And I don't want to be the face of that letter of recommendation that said they are great. So they were a good soccer player, but that doesn't mean, I can commit to how efficient they will be at work. So what do you know about the student? This I always recommend getting to know together. And the purpose. Is this a letter of recommendation for scholarship, for admission, for character reference, for a job, that sort of thing? So those are particular things. And do you have all the information you need? I've had people reach out to me after 5 years and say, can you write me a letter of recommendation? 5 years is a long time. 2 years is a long time. So getting to know them, why do you want me to write this letter of recommendation? What are some things that you've done, growth? What have your courses been like? That sort of thing is important to have, and using that information to be able to give a strong, we're advocating in the end, right? So it's necessary to have that conversation with the student so that you can do the job. Yes, great questions here. I will address them very soon. So purpose of recommendations, they are very important in the review. Like I said, a deep dive. So for students, give the reviewer the opportunity to understand who you are, the relationship you have with your peers, teachers, coaches, that sort of thing. What is your GPA? All that stuff, give it to them. They don't have to, be searching for this information. They can be a CSI investigator, Prabjot ne letter of recommendation manga hai, can you tell me about? No, have that conversation with your teacher. Jisko bhi pucha, have that conversation, find out what is it that we need, we want to accomplish. Teachers and counselors, give the reviewer the opportunity to know institution who you are. If you are a professor in chemistry, share that you've been a teacher for so long, kitne saal, you've been working at that high school or wherever it is, how you know that student, and then the advocacy for that student. Those are very important things. We want to know the student, we want to know you, because this can become a lifelong or a career-long relationship that we can build. So now for the student and everyone in this letter of recommendation, this is really important. If and when it is agreed upon and your recommender says yes, then collect information about the student. So what I like to do is I like to have 5 to 10 things that I like to write down that I feel will be necessary. So when you meet with the student meets with the teacher, it's important to sit down and say, 5 to 10 items that are important, you have to write down. So GPA is important. Kitne saal se jante ho, right? Mention how and in what capacity you know student. Be positive and use examples of how the student is resilient, hardworking, committed, all these adjectives that you're going to use to describe their characteristics. Share the contributions to community or school community, so sports, extracurricular activities, work, This is really important. And by examples and their contribution, if I say something like, they are well respected by their peers and always willing to lend a hand to someone in need. So, letters of recommendation most of the time are positive. So give an example, there was, I like to use names. So I saw someone's name was Dheeraj. So Dheeraj is excellent at working with their peers. Nilu was struggling in chemistry. And I'm sorry, I'm using chemistry the whole time, but Dheeraj is great and Nilu needed help. Dheeraj helped Nilu outside of class time and Nilu's grades improved. And this was all in credit to Dheeraj being able to work with Nilu as a peer and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that sort of stuff. Sports mein bolo to, yeah, he's an excellent cricketer or soccer player. Worked really hard over the summer to come in fit for the season and, was able to help us win our championship and that sort of stuff. Share how the student will benefit from being a member of the university. So by being admitted, what is this student going to gain? They want to become a business major, finance. Our university is known for finance. So being able to get admitted will help the student achieve a lifelong goal and dreams to work at a future, consulting firm or becoming a CPA or whatever. And what will the university gain from the presence of the student? Getting international students is kind of a pride thing for universities in America. But at the same time, think about it. How many students are there in India who want to get an education in the US? How many students are there in Pakistan who want to get an education in the US, in Nepal, in China, Brazil, England, Africa, say? Then think about how many students in the US want to get an education at a US institution too. So you have to set yourself aside and step out of your comfort zone and share how and what you will bring to our campus. I had a student very recently, it was a domestic student, an American, who started a barbecue club at his high school. So, I was like, wow, what? You started a cooking barbecue club? Yeah. And he was like, if I come to the university, can I start one or do you have one? So I already saw that he's going to bring a positive influence on our campus. Khana kaun nahi pasand karta, right? I love food. So I was like, of course, this is awesome. So these are things that you think about, like, we have cricket here, but it's minimal, right? Not a lot of people play. So, oh yeah, this student can get others and is very good at teaching others how to play cricket. I mean, anything that you can see that the student would bring, share it. Provide an efficient contact information, not only for the student, but for yourself as the recommender. I am known for calling someone who recommends and saying, आपने बोला ये student बहुत अच्छा है, पढ़ाई में भी अच्छा है, all of this. And the grades are like they're applying for biology, for instance, and the grades in science are not really as strong as they are in the social studies, English, and arts. So can you share more? Student wants to be a doctor, but the science grades are like mediocre. And you're saying they're great. Can you tell me more? Why do you think that? And उस बातचीत में पता चल सकता है कि, you know what, they're very hardworking, resilient. They will दिन रात एक कर देंगे just to get their goals. That is good to know. All right. And try to be concise. There was a question about how long. A page or two. Usse zyada nahi. I have seen letters of recommendation that were like 6 pages, and I was like, come on, man. I will read it because it's my job, but this is too much. And you're repeating stuff, right? So that's not necessary. Be concise. I have some examples in here that I will share. Be concise, but give examples. Be good. As long as you can articulate this stuff, we're fine. The further conversations, you can put that in there, right? Like, please reach out to me. I have so much more to share about this student. That sort of stuff lets us know that, yes, the student is worth the time and investment as a reader. I want to get to know more, because this looks like the recommender has more to share with me. I am definitely going to email them, or I'm going to call, WhatsApp Joby. Yeah, well, we'll do it. Faux pas, avoid. You want to not share too much personal information about the student and your relationship with them. This is particular. I have had letters of recommendation from a family member. Those are not okay. If I write a letter of recommendation for my 8-year-old son, I'm going to say he's the best 8-year-old in the world and that sort of stuff. So same thing, mom and dad, uncle, auntie, Joby had, grandma, grandpa, they cannot write a letter of recommendation unless they know you on a professional, or if you got homeschooled, that sort of level, then you have to explain in there that despite being my child or whatever, I employ the student, or I have been the teacher and that sort of thing. But try to avoid a lot of personal information being shared. Keep it to the purpose, academic or scholarship or whatever. When asking for a scholarship or other benefit, if it is not a scholarship application or recommendation, don't request for that sort of stuff. So, the student would benefit from an admission to your university versus saying, please give them a full ride scholarship. Those are very hard to receive these days. So keep it to the point. Please avoid using the name of a school, especially if student is applying to more than one. So if you're applying to University of Southern Maine and the letter of recommendation says, please give recommendation, or I'm applying this letter of recommendation for University of Southern Maine, and the student applies to University of California, wherever, Berkeley or anywhere, San Diego, and the letter says University of Southern Maine, that is it's not good. It does not look good on the person sending the letter. In the ultimate, it does not look good on the student because it looks like you're just recycling stuff. Being negative about the student. It's one thing to say the student could do better with their time management and they're working on it. You put a positive spin on something. But if you are very negative in the letter, which I have seen, my best advice to the person writing the letter is to decline. Just say, I cannot write this letter for you, because this is the student's future we're talking about. And the student came to you, which means they respect you. So just because they got a C+ or a C in your class, they respect you. That doesn't mean that they're not the best student. Sit down, have that discussion, and then move forward. Student, let them know why you're asking. You could go ask the art teacher who you got an A with, but you've come over here to the geography teacher who gave you a C+. So why are you there? Why are you asking them? Share. Avoid sharing about the school and the accomplishments, and this is specifically to the recommender. So if you are a elite scientist or whatever, we want to know who you are, but don't focus that letter on your accomplishments. This is about the student. So faux pas that you should be aware of. Here's a couple examples. I will quickly read these. I did cancel out the names of students. So I have known X for the past 2.5 years. Having served as her teacher in both English and arts at Greenfield High School, I believe that X would be an excellent addition to your institution. X is a bright and attractive young woman. Not really. Or attentive, sorry, I said attractive. So attractive wouldn't be a faux pas, attentive is good. In class and in her work, she demonstrates that she is an intelligent and capable student with great potential. She has always been the top student in her class. I am confident that she will thrive in any academic program that she chooses to pursue. Awesome. You're telling us why it would be good to admit the student to a program. X has also greatly enriched our high school life by engaging in extracurricular activities. She initiated a bridge club in which now 12 students meet regularly to teach themselves the ins and outs of the card game. Perfect. Influence in the community of the high school and working with peers, and looks like they respect. I am convinced that X would make a more than valuable contribution to your university, both inside and outside of the class. She has my highest recommendation. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Y teacher, and below that is the name and contact email. This is good. Next one, and actually under any school was like a bunch of phone numbers and stuff. I deleted those. So I am pleased to recommend Y, who has been a student in my math class for the past 3 years. During that time, I have come to know her as a strong student and a role model for her peers. Y is a rare student type who combines exceptional natural ability with willingness and eagerness to learn. So this tells me hardworking will do whatever is necessary to make sure they get their work done. Y is able to help her peers with difficult mathematical concepts, but does so in a way that is both practical and non-condescending. Awesome. Works well with others, can teach others, and peers are benefiting from this person being in the working environment and also as a social environment. Although she's aware of her natural ability in the area of math, Y is constantly challenging herself. She is part of the school's mathletics team, which challenges local college university students in mathematical competitions. She is also active in the community of the school by being a member of Greenpeace and a cheerleader, while also playing defense on our school's soccer team. Y would make an excellent candidate for early admission. I recommend her without hesitation. Should you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Perfect. So the other types of recommendation letters are for scholarships. Reference in this situation, you would say, I'm applying to the University of so-and-so for this scholarship, and the recommender would then reference that school, organization, and the scholarship to say, Prabjot is applying for the Promise Scholarship that is offered at University of Southern Maine to first-time college attendees in the family, that sort of thing. And then directly tie into students' candidacy, GPA, years of schooling, and I put advocacy, advocacy, so advocate, and I put exclamation points there because your job is to advocate. Many people want this scholarship or job or admission. So put your stamp down and let them know that this student is quality, top quality. Accomplishments, intellectual strengths, why you think they're deserving are very important. A job recommendation, discuss together why, getting the permission, why the change in a job or career, or why you're applying for that job. The length of time you have known the candidate and in what capacity. I was their supervisor for 4 years. I know that they can do projects on their own, Strengths and possible weakness. I can make a phone call to someone. I can say, thank you for sharing all these strengths that the student has. Do you mind telling me something that the student may need to work on? As a soccer coach, I would always ask a coach, would the student athlete benefit from being on my team? Yes, Okay. How could I help them as a coach? Oh, you could help them with Okay. What is something that I need to know about the student that would help me make them a better soccer player or a better student? That is looking for the weaknesses. So it's always good as a recommender to know something about this candidate, that if anyone calls and says, could you share a weakness, or at some point, you should also have a positive spin on that, because you can say, oh, their time management skills could be improved. They are working on that very much. The senior year, they've been able to handle a tough course load and work and play sports, and they're still excelling, and so that sort of thing. And again, I'm putting advocate. Would you rehire or hire this person in the future? And yes, because they have all these qualities, they're going to be a benefit to your program. So I know there were some questions, and I know I answered one of them about keeping pages. So there was a question about how many pages should a recommendation be, and I said, keep it 1 to 2 pages. Um, the liberal arts system, what is the breakup of my curriculum? How many? That's an excellent question. Gen Ed based, and how many would be based on my major? Okay, so I like to tell students that your college career is like a triangle. The first 2 years are generally gen eds and that sort of stuff. Then you get into the big core and then your concentration. That does not mean that your gen eds do not include um, programs from courses from your program. For instance, at USM, I tell students, if you want to do medicine, in your first 2 years, you've taken gen eds, but no biomedical courses. By your third year, parents and you have been paying tuition. आप इंडिया से आ रहे हो, पेरेंट्स अभी मुंबई में हैं, पंजाब में, जहाँ भी हैं. Distance, all right, stress भी है उसका, living away from your family and all of that. 2 साल आपने ये कटा लिया, and then third year, you start taking your core bio classes, and then you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. I wanted to be a dentist, but I cannot do this now. That's, you know what I'm saying? So you start early. First 2 years, you're taking gen ed, but you take some of these courses that introduce you to the biomedical field, and then you will know, yeah, this is something I can do or not. You can change your major. That is common. That's why I like liberal arts, because you can change your major. I came to America to be a banker, to work in the finance industry, and I was like, this is so boring, man. I can't do it. So I can do it, but I don't want to. I'm not happy doing this. So what I found was I enjoy coaching, or I enjoy soccer. I want to coach. And I love meeting people. So college admissions was a thing I did as an internship. And I was like, wow, I can tell people about my story. I can learn about theirs. I can give advice. I can help students who don't know how to tell mama and papa that they do not want to do medicine or engineering. They would rather be in business or be in computer science or be a teacher. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to teach science, right? So you need to do something that's important to you. So first 2 years, and then your last 2 years are more core, but your first 2 years, like I said, would introduce you to your core subject matter. Does a higher ranking official like principal of school have a bigger weight and impact on your recommendation letter? Ruchika, I hope I pronounced that right. Great question. Yes and no. If you have a relationship built with the principal and they know that you're hardworking, they know all these things, yes. I'm going to go back to something I said at the very beginning. Do not try to impress. Put the real picture out there. Be honest, because that is what is going to be the best image of you, right? India mein kehte hain na, satya ki jeet. Like, so we want to put the honest answer out there. If you do not have a very strong relationship with the principal or headmaster, don't try that. Go to the person that really knows you, the art teacher, the math teacher. Maybe if it's not even a teacher who taught you, but you have a very strong relationship with who knows they were your a mentor or someone like that, It doesn't always have to be someone in the school system too. अगर आप काम करते हो, आपका manager जो है, काम पे, if they know how hardworking you are, grades भी अच्छे हैं, काम पे सही time पे पहुंचते हैं, not lazy, आलसी नहीं है, whatever. We need to know that. Put that ask that person, like, can you write me like 1 page? And something I apologize, मैंने बोला नहीं earlier. For the recommender, please be mindful of deadlines. Your failure to mind deadlines can affect the student. So if there's a scholarship recommendation or an admission early decision or early action decision for the student, it's very important that you send this letter of recommendation. You can type it up. You can email it to us. जो भी है, पूछ के आप काम कीजिए हमारे साथ and get that in. We don't want to punish a student for lack of trying on your end as a recommender. So Jatin, can recommenders discuss how entry into a particular college will help the student improve? Yes, absolutely. Great question again. The question has to do with how admission to a university is going to benefit that student becoming stronger in some of their weaker points, things that they can improve. Absolutely, yes. You know, the environment that University of Southern Maine, for instance, provides with your smaller class sizes, or the ratio of 14:1, will benefit Suraj because he thrives in a smaller class environment. Suraj will be able to work closely with the professor, and that classroom environment and education system that you provide at your institution is a great platform for him to achieve his goals. Absolutely, those are good things to bring up, and I'm glad those are very, very good questions that you shared. I have my information here as well. I will provide it later too, but these are definite ways to get a hold of me. I always provide students the option to email me their essays if they want, or get to know me better. We are big on relationship building here. We want to know who the student is. Your transcript alone is not a clear indication. So I mentioned earlier, 4.0 student or 3A- student. And the recommendation said how condescending they were towards their peers. You know, like, oh, you can't, how do you not know the answer to this? Oh, it's, you know, XY over, you know, whatever. And just not nice, right? Like if I don't understand something and I'm asking you, it's because I trust that you'd be able to help me. And if you're going to make me feel worse than I already feel because I don't know how to answer this, for me on the outside watching that, I'm like, nah, you know, this person is better at certain things that you are not good at. Are they responding that way to you? No, they're not. So you do not need to do that. You're not that special. Or, you know, if I've also seen some where there are donors. I worked at a private institution too, and there was donors, and someone once wrote an essay, or there was a letter of recommendation that said, you know, student X's family donates to the college fund every year or whatever. And it's like, and so what? No, this is not okay. You're trying to pull weight on something. So absolutely no, we're not going to do that. So I hope I was able to share quite a bit here in regard to letters of recommendation. What I would like to do now, if I am able to do this, is discuss my university very quickly with you guys. I'll be sharing my university, so hope you can all see this. Kunal, if there's any issues, please speak up and let me know. So
Yes,
I'm at the
your
yes.
presentation clearly. Thank you, Prabjot.
Thank you. So University of Southern Maine. This is me again, PJ Singh, and I work in admissions, and my colleague is Kimberly Sinclair, who works in the international office, and her job. So how we do things here is when you apply to USM, I'm the guy that works with you. Once you commit to USM or need to submit documentation for getting your visa, Kimberly takes care of that. And then I just kind of monitor the situation. When you're a student here, you're in safe hands with Kimberly. I am also available, but Kimberly handles your I-20 visa application, all that stuff. And I'm around to help, and I do most of the recruiting. That being said, I will move to the next one. Oops, just missed that. Should go back, that's important. So where is Maine? We're in the top northeast, and Southern Maine is very close to Boston. I'm sure you've heard of Boston, home of Harvard University. The Northeast is home to a lot of universities that are renowned. MIT and Harvard, you should have heard of. University of Southern Maine is a public institution. We have 3 campuses in Portland, Gorham, and Lewiston. The campus you see behind me is Gorham campus, which is where I work. I'm actually looking out my window. This is your quintessential New England style campus. It has the older buildings, you know, the trees, the greenery. Portland is like a city, or not like it is a city. And so you'll see the more urban, the glass, and there's more to come on that. We're building a new dorm, residential building with over 500 rooms or beds, over close to 600 beds, so lots of rooms and high rise. And a new student center, new green area for like concerts and stuff like that. So we're growing. Why Maine? I graduated from a school in Maine, more north. So like right, I don't know if you can see my pointer, but like right here, right next to Canada. Canada was like 30 minutes away. Maine is safe. That's one of the biggest things. One of the safest states in the USA. Maine is known for having everything really, other than really hot deserts. We don't have deserts here. It's very green. We have a lot of winter. So we have the 4 seasons, which are fall, winter, spring, and summer. So you will see in the picture, I believe there's like a little bit of color in the trees. The trees here turn orange and red and yellow and all those leaves changing in the fall. Winter is very white with the snow. Spring gets wet and everything starts blooming again, and then summer is warm. We have beaches, woods, all kinds of fun stuff here. And Portland is known for its restaurants. So I said earlier, खाना किसको पसंद नहीं, you know. So one of the top restaurant cities of the US, one of the growing cities of the US right now is Portland, Maine, which is where University of Southern Maine is. Gorham and Portland are about 20 minutes apart, and we have the Husky Line bus that goes between each campus. Our students don't need to worry about driving or biking between campuses. The bus takes them back and forth. And every student gets free access to the Portland metro system. So you can use the bus to go anywhere in the city. You can go as far as Freeport, Maine, which is about 40 minutes from Portland. So lots of cool stuff. And average temperatures are 21 Celsius, so not too hot and pretty cool. And winter is cold, so jacket zarur leke aana. But it's not bad. I came from Ghana, West Africa, on the equator, right? So if I am here, 20 saal baad, I'm definitely sure you can do it. So our Gorham campus is where I work, and classic college town, about 1,100 students living on campus, 6 unique residential buildings. We have 22 different national NCAA sports, so varsity. I help coach soccer here. I'm an assistant, both men and women. I was a head coach at a different institution too in the past. So lots of experience, a lot of winning. And all those sports are played here in Gorham. Diverse programs and STEM disciplines, performing arts. We have 2 Emmy Award winners here. If you do not know what the Emmy Awards are, they're one step below the Academy Awards. Emmy Awards are like for the serial shows, jo India mein serials hote, wo unke characters. So we have that going on here. So in the last 3 years, I should say, we're in a new cycle. In the last 3 years, we have 2 award winners. If you guys know the show Monk, M-O-N-K, the star for that show is a graduate of University of Southern Maine. And we have a lot of private scholarships that our alumni like to award as well. Vibrant campus, lots of intramural sports, activities, clubs and organizations. We've had, hip hop artists, pop artists, comedians, all of them come to our campus to entertain students. Portland, as you can see, is the city. So this is a snapshot, but it's a lot busier than this. It's also a small city versus like a Boston or a New York City. Most livable cities rated 27 best places to live in the US right now. There's a lot of people moving to Maine because it's growing. The arts and the social culture in Maine is expanding and becoming like the place to be. And we have a career and hub center on campus that has been getting more involved with this. So every fall and spring semester, we have job fairs with over 100 companies coming in because of the booming industry and entrepreneurship that is there. So students have opportunities for um, internships, job shadowing, and those sort of stuff. Each campus is also unique for programs. So Portland is known for the School of Business, Social Sciences, nursing. If you want to be a nurse, we have an excellent nursing program. If you want to be an engineer, that's in the Gorham campus. And like this says, over 40,000 partners and alumni network. So lots of people are out there that are trying to help hire our students and graduates. For international students, we do require the TOEFL or IELTS, like I said before. Regular admission is 6.5 on the IELTS composite and 79 TOEFL. We have a pathways program here. So if you score below that, you will be admitted to that program. And the scores for that are 49 to 78 and 5.5 to 6. The higher scholarships are in regular admission. So I would recommend that you keep practicing, your English and all. Now, if you have gone to a British school and have done the Cambridge O-level and A-levels, just stay in touch with me and I can help. You would not need a TOEFL if that's the case. If you did the IB program and your school is specifically being taught in English, we can apply for a TOEFL waiver. And if approved, you would not need to take the TOEFL. I do see some questions coming in. First question, is it very hard for undergraduate Indian students to adjust to the winter? No, not at all. This is one question. Ye maine pehle bhi bola. If I came, Ghana ka temperature, it's super hot in Ghana, like 90 degrees. Oh, that's Fahrenheit, sorry. The average temperatures in Ghana are right around 28, higher, right? 30s. Like I said, when you come here, jacket, in the winter, you'll need a jacket. That's evident, right? It's snow. It's fun. There's so much more I can say about this, but thank you for asking that question. I will discuss it more. How many undergraduate international students are there on campus? Himanshu, great question. I will answer that as well. At this moment, we have, let me move the slide. At this moment, we have 130 plus international students, which is not a large number. I totally acknowledge that. What I do want to point out is that USM is the most diverse institution in the state of Maine. And that includes not only international students, but our green card holders and people like me. So, Shakal se main Indian hoon, aapko malum hai. I grew up in Ghana, West Africa. Maine aapko pehle bhi bataya, I came here as an international student, but I'm a US citizen now. I do not count in the faculty and staff or students. I'm also a graduate student of USM. I do not count as a student of diverse. I count in ethnic diversity, but not as far as because I'm a citizen, all right? So we have a lot of students here who are from Cambodia, from Vietnam, Indians, Nepali, Chinese, and they're all citizens or green card holders, so they don't count in those numbers. Our green card holder students do not count as international students because they're a permanent resident. So 130 true international F1 visa students here, many of whom are from Nepal and all over. So I am here, I've been hired at USM to increase the number of students from Southeast Asia, which means Indian population is also in demand right now. So I'm trying, that's why I'm here right now doing this. So great question. And I'll come back to the weather thing again, but here's again, we're talking about, we do have graduate school here too, and the 79 and 6.5 is for regular admission, still the same requirement. I mentioned earlier in my presentation that we need a high school transcript with certified English translation. If your transcripts are in English, that is totally fine. If you have attended any college, we would need that college transcript as well, obviously translated or not. If there are any credits that need to be translated or transfer credit evaluated to a US credit evaluation. I can discuss that more in a one-on-one situation. The essay, counselor, teacher recommendation are encouraged. It lets me get to know you better and more. Declaration of finances is the ability to show that you can afford attending our university. You can submit that after you receive a scholarship upon admission. I will not talk about transfer students because most of you are high school. So the average cost of attendance at USM, there are more questions coming in, is a total of 38,500. This is an estimate. What I do want to point out is that does not include your scholarship or ability to work on campus or internships, etc. It also, if you look carefully, personal expenses almost died. Was that like 2,000? I can promise you that when I did not spend $2,000. Books, it says Baras. There's ways right now, Amazon, there's ways that you can cost save. So I am here as a resource to help students, but I have to publish this. So if you're spending $2,000 on personal expenses, I'm going to have a conversation with you. So let me see here. Can English profession CBSE students also? Yes. So if you are if you have any documentation to show that you have had education in English and there is English proficient testing available. So like I said earlier, IB or doing the British system, I did the O-level and A-level in Ghana, so I didn't do the TOEFL. We will work together and get that waived. I just need to present it to the director as a form of my support that the student does not need a TOEFL requirement. For essay, does it need to be 2 pages also? Not at all. Your essay can be half a page, 1 page. General rule of thumb is between 250 to less than 650 words. So that's about a page, page and a half. You're not trying to impress us. You're telling us your story. One of the best essays I have read was about a student's love for ice cream. अभी आपको मालूम है कि खाना मुझे पसंद है, लेकिन the ice cream story was so awesome. The student said, I like banana split ice cream, which is, I don't know if they have that in India or not, but it's a banana that's been cut in half. Usme vanilla, strawberry, chocolate ice cream or whatever, 3 different flavors, a lot of extra on top, cherry, cream, whatever. And the student used that ice cream to describe what they want in a college. So they said, I want a college that's diverse. I want a liberal arts education. I want the school to have scholarship options, all this stuff. And that was all placed as part of the ice cream, different parts of the ice cream. And they were like, and I know that, you know, your institution is that ice cream for, I mean, it was perfect, man. And I was like, yeah, and I still remember this, you know, you want to make an impression. That's what you want to do. So what documents have to be submitted as financial proof? So there is a letter that's called the Declaration of Finances. You will be submitting that. Every school has one. Your bank statements from parents, obviously cancel out the account number, but the bank statement shows how much you can afford. Some schools have it that you need to show 4 years worth of affordability. Some schools like USM, one year is enough. You just need to show that you can afford 1 year, and then we try to get you your visa. I would recommend saving a lot of money if you haven't already done that. That would cover like flight and that sort of stuff so that it can help. Also, you can show your scholarship in there. So once you obtain your scholarship, then you can start working on your financial documentation. It is also necessary for you to try and use other resources, sponsors, outside scholarships. There are a lot of scholarships that people do not apply for, right-handed, left-handed scholarship. There is a scholarship for Sikh students, Punjabi. there's a there's a scholarship for students who are Hindu. There's so many scholarships out there. Jo bhi aap soch sakte hain, there is money out there. You just need to do the work to find it and apply. A lot of questions coming in. This is awesome. Let me change the slide. I would like to request info on housing options and meal plans. As you are Indian like us, what are the Indian food and grocery options? Okay, great question. So when you come to America, they're not going to be serving you Indian food, right? First of all, it's not going to taste the same. As far as Indian stores, there is one, a couple actually. I'm saying one is that I like to go to in South Portland. So Nazdik hai yahan se. And I go there and I don't. If there's any parents watching, don't get upset at me. I don't know how to make chapati or anything like that. Dal wagera bana leta hu. So I usually have my mom. She used to cook for me everything. So what I do is I go to the store and they have chapatis that are pre-cooked in a bag, in a packet, and I buy those. So there's a lot of options. There's also Indian restaurants. Agar aap khana pakate ho, then there's all sorts of like dal wagera, sab kuch mil jata hai yahan pe. So you can do that, and we support each other, right? I told you there's a large Nepali population here, so the food is similar. So obviously those students will connect with you, and this is all about supporting each other, and we do that well here. The other thing is, as you come here, embrace the culture and the food. So if you do not eat beef, obviously don't do that. And we do respect that. We have a lot of students who are Muslim here. So like pork, so bacon, that sort of thing. So the school does a very excellent job as far as trying to respect cooking on separate like kosher stations for students. And if you let the dining services know what your limitations are as far as dietary restrictions, we respect those. You're not the only person. There's vegans. There's what's the other one called? They have different gluten-free and all this, so we try to respect that. Scholarships quickly, $8,000 to $12,000 per year. A 3.0 is a B average. A 3.5 is a high B plus to A minus average. 2.75 is a B minus average. C plus to B minus. So you have $8,000 to $12,000 per year that you can award it from admissions. Then I would say talk to Education USA in India, and I can work with you one-on-one as far as that goes and try to assist you. The class and faculty ratio, average class size is 25. The ratio is 14 to 1. So we keep smaller class sizes here. The intro to bio class is done in a lecture hall, but it's not like 200, 300 students. We don't do that here. Even though we have about 8,000 total students here, 6,000 undergraduate and 2,000 graduate students, we try to keep class sizes small. The goal of this university is to make sure that when you leave here, other than myself, you can name one other, and the faculty, you can name one other staff or faculty person that is not in your degree program. So if you leave here and you say, oh, I really know Sarah Lance who works at the Wish Camper Library, that's what we want to know. Like you connected with someone outside of the recruiter and your faculty members. Yes, absolutely. Ashmit, question about campus safety. I already mentioned that Portland is very safe. Maine is very safe. There is a reason that I am still here. मैं USA में 2000 में आया था, and I was a soccer player. So 2001 was the first soccer season when I was actually like getting to travel and play. And I'm Punjabi. I have a juda the whole time, right? And I play soccer. So imagine playing with the juda during 9/11 in America, which was a very impactful time. And I'm not going to say that America had a lot of retaliation and that sort of stuff, but I still have a juda and I speak Punjabi, and the campus is safe. Maine is safe. our institution is working very hard. I'm part of the Inclusion and Diversity Advisory Committee to the President's Cabinet. We're working very hard towards becoming an anti-racist institution, which means faculty, staff, students identify as human versus, oh, you are international, oh, you are a Black student, oh, you're Gora or whatever. So do you need all 4 years of transcripts from 9th grade? Yes, absolutely. We want to see every single grade you have, Neeraj. It is very important in your review. Also, if you have a discrepancy in your grading, so like freshman year was not good, I would like to know what happened. We've had students who have stellar grades, and then there's 1 year that you see something happen, we find out they were either ill, they fell ill. I had one student whose house burned down. We're human. We want to know what happened and we'll work with you. Any student who's had loss, illness, the house burnt down, like I don't expect you to be getting A's. That's hard. We get it. What will be your application and scholarship? Oh, so great question. Application deadline for international students is July 1st. This is for graduate admissions, so we'll skip that. This is a list of all our programs. Scholarship deadline is April 1 right now. Abhi coronavirus hai, pandemic. I hope this gets resolved soon, but this year we extended our deadline to July 1, both international applications and scholarship. I cannot guarantee that will happen next year, but by April 1st is our deadline for scholarships. My recommendation is apply soon, so that way I can work with you, get all the documentation in, admit you, get you your scholarship, so that the next step is private donor scholarships. Any scholarship you can find in India, any scholarship you can find through Education USA, any scholarship, we can work on the extra money that you can get. Our job at this university is to get every student a job when they graduate. So as far as international students, internship, job after graduation, all of that, we are working very hard so that we know that you may have to pay maybe a little bit more than any other school, but we don't want you just here to say, oh, we have 500 international students, which is very nice. But you know, when you graduate, आपको job मिलेगा? मिल रहा है? I don't know. We're trying कि जब आप graduate हो, we can say this student graduated and is working at XY university or XY institution or this organization. You know, we have a lot of our cybersecurity. You can see here the very popular programs: business, computer science, nursing bhi hai. I know in India, nursing is not one of the top majors, but in the US it is. If you're a nurse in the US, you will get hired. At this moment, prior to graduation, you will have a job and they fast track you to graduation. If you want to do pre-med, we have pre-med, pre-med, pre-dental, pre-vet, pre-law bhi hai yahan pe. So all of these things we do offer. It's like a buffet, all right? There's a lot of different programs here and you can do all of these. And some programs have scholarships that are unique to the program, so you can get those later. Do you recommend us to pursue master's degree in the US once we have completed? Absolutely, and we're about to get to that next. Because we have something here that helps fast track you to graduate. And that's this, accelerated graduate pathway. Kunal, apologies, I know Gyara, it's past the time. Okay.
No worries.
Thank you. And for the students and families, I appreciate it very much. I don't want to be shortchanging you here. Accelerated graduate pathways, everyone, I almost said bacho, sorry. I say kids here a lot. So accelerated graduate pathways are programs that get you into a master's program in your senior year as an undergraduate. If you are not aware of this, graduate school costs more than undergrad. Graduate school mein आपको scholarship मिल सकता है, but it's like really tough. The benefit of an accelerated graduate pathway is that in your senior year of undergraduate, your 4th year, you will be doing graduate level work when you're admitted to this program. So you have pretty much 1 more year of full-time study, and you graduate from USM in 5 years with a master's degree, which means higher earning potential, higher job marketability, more job skills, all of that stuff. One thing I do want to point out is the law degree is a 3+3, which means your junior year is when you'll be doing graduate level work at the cost of undergrad. And jo bhi aapko scholarship milega, that is also helping pay for your graduate school. And those courses qualify as graduate. So let's just say, that was a great question. It's going to be affordable. I know aapko like financial aid nahi milta because you're international, but in the bigger picture, this is an awesome deal. And I've been marketing this to students from overseas very, very hard, because I'm like, instead of doing 4 years and then 2 years or 3 years of grad school or whatever, you're shortening the time. Time is something that we don't monetarily account for, right? We just say, हाँ 4 साल में इतने पैसे लगेंगे or whatever. We don't say 1 साल का savings भी मिलेगा हमें, and he graduates early or she graduates early. So if you want to learn more about this, please feel free to reach out to me. But these are fast tracks and they benefit you. Popular areas of grad study, because we have graduate school here, bio, PPM. So if you want to get into politics and that sort of stuff, this is a great program for that. Public health, statistics, we do have nursing and teaching and all of these different ones here. And you can see the JD or law. This talks about some deadlines, but we have some questions. Arpan, this year our marks were absolutely, man. Final exams go cancel. It will not work against you. In America, sorry, in America, students got a passing grade or failing grade. So P does not account for anything. So the same issue you have faced, the domestic students have faced. We have made a commitment not to penalize anyone for that. Whatever grades you have, I'll be back to the presentation I did on recommendation letters. That is why that is very important. I am going to be in touch with the people you use as references to discuss your file, to say, okay, can you tell me more? Okay, can you elaborate on this? Okay, student ko passing grades mile, or they didn't do their finals. If they're an A student, obviously I'm like, they're gonna get an A. Agar B student, BC, then I'm like, okay, so exam ke result ke baad, do you think the student would, I am having all those conversations. We're not here to penalize you. Mera job, I love my job, man. It's not even a job. I love it because I'm able to help people. All right. So main yahan pe America mein aaya, I did my education. I am a resource for you. Obviously I didn't grow up in India, so meri Hindi Punjabi se bhi pata chalta hai, like yeah, like in Punjabi we say baro, right? I'm baro, right? I'm from outside. So, but I am Indian and I'm here to help you. Families, definitely. If you are thinking about sending your child to Maine, please don't be yahan pe hain hum, right? We're together. We'll work it out. We'll assist you. So please, want to make sure, let's see here quickly before I answer more questions. This is support that many schools don't offer to international students. Yeah, look how awesome this looks, guys. Yeah, I'm beach cap. We're very close to mountains. We're close to hills. We're close to hiking, jungle, whatever. We're also very on the coast, beaches, whatever. Winter is awesome. I know sardi se hum darte hain thoda, but like it is so beautiful. And then fall. So this is when, trees kind of, they either lose their leaves or the leaves turn color. Pumpkin, they do the Halloween, whatever. Like, I love it. We support our international students to the best of our ability. We will pick you up from the airport. Portland has an airport. Boston, say, 8 ghanta or less. We can even come pick you up from Boston if need be. New international student orientation, immigration advising, including assistance with CPT and OPT, which is If you're unaware, that's your internship and job. 1 साल का आपको job मिलेगा after graduation, a work permit. That can be turned into more, or graduate school, etc. And उसके बाद. So it's not an H1, which is a work visa, it's an OPT, but OPT से आपको H1 मिल सकता है if your employer is willing to sponsor you and all that. So keep an eye on that. Ongoing support and assistance to transition to USM and the US. So it's a different culture, different lifestyle. We help you acclimatize to that. Obviously, I mentioned cultural activities and international club. And if you are in the ESOL, which is English for Speaker of Other Languages, we assist you with that as well in that program. We have residence halls, so you can see, and these are some of our international students. You can see if you have, I think they were out skating, man. Yeah, I haven't done any skating here. 20 साल से हूँ. I don't go on the ice. Pretty boring when it comes to that kind of stuff. I stick to soccer. So 6 residence halls, over 100 student clubs and activities. I already mentioned having free access to the bus system, transportation, tutoring services, cultural events, fitness facilities, gym वगैरह करना हो, you know, or varsity sports if you're interested, tennis, cross country, track and field. And then student and health. Every student needs to have insurance. So the 38,000 included a $2,000 health insurance. So agar aap bimar ho, you can go to a hospital, but prior to hospital, we have a health center on campus where if you needed immediate like sir dardi dawai or flu injection, whatever, we have that here and it's provided with your health and campus fee. I mentioned earlier about career and employment. We have partners here who will work with you. This is Kaoru Phillips. She still works. She's from Japan, but citizen. So anyway, she works with students from Nepal and the subcontinent as well. So she will work with you guys. She works with Kimberly. I work very closely with them. So you'll be in touch with us. And you can see the Career and Employment Hub supports you in all these different areas: alumni, graduate school, job search, interviewing skills, internship search, resume and cover letter development and review, self-assessments, knowing who you are and what you want to do, that sort of stuff. I mentioned sports already, but these are all the sports we have. Yeah, I coach soccer, so obviously a little biased toward the soccer picture, but and this is my contact information again, just my email provided here this time. So let's see, how can we pursue 2 different specializations such as business? Excellent question, Jatin. You can double major, you can do a major minor, you can do certificates, you can do all sorts of things. It looks like you're into sports, Jatin, so nice to meet you. We also have athletic coaching certification here. So while you're doing business or sport management, there are, in case you want to coach, we have an athletic certificate here that you can earn. Part of a liberal arts education is getting what we call electives, and those are just general classes you can take. In those electives, my advice to you as an international student is don't just take any random class, take a class or take classes that would earn you a certificate. So use those to help you pursue your dream, all right? So this is easy to do. You just need to work with me and your advisor, who will be an academic advisor, not a cultural or admissions advisor, a advisor for the program, who will help you transition into the core classes you need and future. So great question, man. Janki, can students apply as undecided? Absolutely. Absolutely. What I would advise though is that as an international student, अभी ना थोड़ा सा tension है, like political and all of that stuff. So my advice would be to come here, आपने computer science, sign up for computer science, show us, and here's the other thing, information technology, computers, they're still in the same lane. You're not saying medicine and business, which are completely two, which I have seen. So you can pick computer science. If you get here, when you get here, जैसे मैंने पहले बोला, you're taking those classes, and if you're like, I still want to be in computers, but I'm thinking now more cybersecurity, more infotech versus computer science. That's easy. We just do a change of major. We change your I-20 up. Kimberly के साथ बात करेंगे and say, I just changed my major, Kimberly. It's not computer science anymore, it's cybersecurity. And they make that change on your I-20. Visa pe bhi, it'll be reflective. So that is great. You can come in undeclared, but my advice is to be coming in with a degree program so that the chances of obtaining a visa are also easier. When they interview you and they ask you, okay, what do you want to study? And you say, I don't know, that can sometimes be problematic. But if you're like, I want to do computer science because da 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 da, great. So great question. I'm loving these questions, guys. These are awesome. Ruchika, do scholarships get, okay, great question. Do scholarships get extended from master's program? How can admissions work for the bachelor's master's combination? When you are applying to the undergraduate program, use the common application. We have the common app. When you apply, you will, okay, let's just say you applied for business. You would apply to the business program management. It will ask you, are you applying for a accelerated graduate pathway? Please write this down, accelerated graduate pathway. That accelerated graduate pathway is your first step towards the master's program, the graduate. We can admit anyone to the accelerated graduate pathway. You as a student need to maintain certain grades. So आप मेरे साथ काम करेंगे, मैं आपको website पे, I'll show it to you. You need like a B average in all your core classes for that program, that sort of thing. If you maintain that, they will admit you to the program in your junior year. So the senior year, you start that. I think like law is 3.3, which is a B+. So you need to have a B+ average in political science program, environmental, business, whatever. Based off of that, you can do your graduate. The scholarship from undergraduate will transfer to your graduate school for the 4th year, or junior and senior for law. When you're getting into graduate school, we have a graduate studies program office here. You'll be working with them. You will be working with your faculty mentors on receiving further scholarships for masters. So we do have master's scholarships. It's a little bit different than undergrad. You'll be working specifically with your faculty advisor and the graduate program, graduate school. Also, one more tip, you don't have to really buy your books for graduate school. 90% of them are in the library. You just have to borrow them. Some books you may have to purchase, but Amazon, वगैरह है यहाँ पे. You can also rent your books. That's something I have done. Renting is a lot cheaper than buying. $20, I can rent a book for the whole semester or a year versus $200 for the book. So, what you got? Great question. Tanushri, will classes be? Yes. Man. Okay, so this coming fall, classes are being taught online. However, courses such as engineering, nursing, biomed, those classes have a lab that is hybrid courses. So they have separated the desks, the chairs, etc. So stations to work at have now been separated. So engineering students are able to still do work, but like at a socially distant classroom setting. Lots of, that's a great question. We've had move-in, but we've encouraged a lot of students to commute this year. A lot of classes are online. Some students have chosen to come in next semester. Some are choosing to come in next year. It is what it is, like they're saying now, right? We just have to do what we have to do. Safety to rakhna hi padega abhi. I'm interested in sports management. Okay, is it also possible for? Absolutely. If you can hang with the Buddha, then you can definitely play on the varsity team. we actually have a young man here. He's not playing, unfortunately. He played for Nepal's under-20 team, and he's not playing. I've said it to him, so Biken naam hai uska. I've said it so many times. He aayega, like, come play, and he's like, yeah, this year, and then engineering mein hai, so he's like, I get it, and it's not for everyone, right? He's very involved with intramural sports. So Jatin, if you don't mind me using your name, if you want to try out, absolutely. If you have footage, any of you who are interested in playing sports, we have a Southern Maine Huskies official website. What I can do is I can send that website to Kunal, who can then share it with you. If you want to communicate with a coach, please fill that out and send us videos, right? We're not going to fly over to India to watch you. So if you send some video, we can watch that video and see how you're doing. Highlight reels. I would say minimize. We like to watch clips. So if you make a mistake, it's good to point out that you made a mistake in a certain thing. If you're doing some good stuff, obviously show us that. We would love to recruit more students onto our sports teams that are from India, no doubt. I know that there's a couple of students who are tennis players and whatever. So hopefully, if you have any more questions, you can keep them coming. आप सबका बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद. If you have already got my email, that's awesome. I'm the guy you'll be talking to anyway. If you email Kimberly, she's going to forward the email to me to get in touch with you. As far as the weather question, किसी ने पूछा था, like, when I came here, I came from Ghana. It was so cold. मैं January में आया, so it was snowing already from Africa. आप तो फिर भी, like, I would recommend coming here like in the fall, so you kind of acclimatize. जितना सर्दी होगा, you'll be like slowly transitioning. When I got here, I left Ghana, it was like 30, 32 degrees. And I got here to New York, and the first day in America, it snowed. And it was like 8-foot buff, and but I'm here. I just wear a jacket. Agar thoda sa sardi lag raha hai, there's a thinner jacket, I wear that. You will need a winter jacket. You can get that here. The main mall, which is like a massive mall in Maine, is in Portland, in South Portland. So very easy to get there. We take all the students there. Kimberly can work with you if in dire need. One thing that I will give advice to the students here tonight on your end, is don't be scared to ask. What I have found and what I've learned over the years is that even though I grew up Indian and in Africa or whatever, as international students and in the Indian culture, we have a lot of pride. Kisi ko पूछना मत, हाथ मत बढ़ाना किसी, that kind of stuff. In America, if you do not ask, you will be left behind. No one's going to come out and say, how, they will ask you how are things, and you're going to respond, it's fine. They're going to say, okay, and they're going to move on. Abhi yahan pe, I've seen a few people calling me sir, वगैरह. I go by PJ. जो भी वो जानता है मुझे, they call me PJ. There's only a few like Sardar community. They're like Prabjot, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. You can call me sir, whatever. I get it. But यहाँ पे ना transitional थोड़ा will teach you that like professors go by their first name, or you call them doctor, whatever. Hindustani professor बहुत हैं in political science and engineering and business and nursing and computer. Everyone is going by first name. Maybe I go by PJ. So if you need something, please ask. We are here to assist you. We're here to help you. If there's any parents watching, I said again, and I'll say it again. I have no other way to say this, but to say, trust me. We're here to help your child. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, let us know. Obviously, I'm not going to police your child. I'm not going to be like, let me pick on Jatin again. Hey, Jatin, kya kar rahe? I'm not going to be doing that. Like, they're going to enjoy their college life, but I will be checking in to be like, how are things going? How are you progressing? Are you doing that double program? Are you going into masters now? Um, can't remember who it was that asked me that excellent question about scholarships. Like, do you need assistance? That sort of stuff. So definitely here to help you. I hate saying this, but I'm going to say it. It's my job, but I do it because it's not my job. I do it because I love doing it. I coach soccer not because it's my job and I get paid whatever. No, I do. I love soccer. So I coach soccer. Same thing with this. So अगर कोई और question वगैरह है तो definitely please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I am going to put in the chat my email once again for everyone. Let me just change this to all. And please, please, please feel free to reach out to me for assistance. And I would highly recommend you apply to USM. Yeah, I'd love to have you guys here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabjot. That was one of the most fun, personal touched, and sweetest presentations I've been part of. I mean, I love chatting with you when we were, conversing in emails, I remember, and I just love this presentation, the personal touch that you put in for all the students. So thank you so much for your kind time and support. I know we went over time, but that's not a problem at all because I think the questions are fantastic and your answers even more fantastic. Just the perspective that you're providing students, because I have studied in the US at Temple University, and being an undergraduate student, I had many, I mean, I share many of the perspectives that you've shared today, and I experienced many of the things you said today, especially, calling your professors by first name, etc. So thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's hard, eh? बहुत
Yeah.
मुश्किल था, man. It was so hard. I was like, I can call you David, and he was like, I'll fail you. Then I was like, oh God, which he wasn't going to do, but it
Right.
was
Yeah.
they helped, and I didn't have the resources at my university before, so यहाँ पे तो like हैं हम, we're here to help you. We're here
Absolutely.
to yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Prabjot, can you please put your other contact details? I know there was a WhatsApp number. I always
Yes.
put it in the chat and share it with people when emails are going out to parents and students, counselors, etc. So if anyone has questions, I know I'd love to be in touch. It's so nice to speak to you, Prabjot. And, to the 12th graders and parents and counselors, thank you so much. We know it's 9 p.m. here in India and it's very late in the evening. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
After
मेरे मम्मा भी पंजाब में है, उनको भी मैंने कॉल करना है अभी, but you know what I'm gonna do? Sorry, Kunal. You know what? I'm gonna send you my personal number, man.
Thank you, Prabjot.
Yeah, because I have a work WhatsApp, guys. I'll send you that as well, but this is my personal. So ये मैं free में आपको दे रहा हूँ.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely free. आपको जो भी like essay में like someone was calling me sir आप मेरा essay देख सकते हैं? Yes, I'll review it with you. Do it in Google Docs so I can add comments and stuff like that.
Right.
If we need to do a Zoom meeting, we can. So that's my personal cell phone. I have WhatsApp on that. You are welcome to do this. Kunal,
Absolutely.
thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you so much to you for making this happen. I mean, really, really appreciate your kind time and support, from your busy schedule. So really appreciate your valuable time. And to students, parents, counselors, thank you to you as well for putting this together and coordinating and having your students attend this. Again, as I mentioned, because we know it's late after especially a long school day, it's an early school morning tomorrow. Thank you so much once again for having everyone attend. And Prabjot, I sincerely really enjoyed this session. It was such a personal touch and touching session, man. Really, really appreciate it. I know
No
I'll
worries.
definitely be in touch with you via WhatsApp for sure. But always so good to meet new people and especially get to know you as well. So hope you have a lovely day. And students, parents, counselors, hope you have a lovely evening. Parents, I just have student counselors. Just one quick point before we cap up for the day. This is a recorded session, and we will be sharing it with your schools as well. So if there are other students who were not able to attend today but would love to get in touch with such a friendly face such as Prabjot, PG Singh, please do forward this session to other students who can learn more about the recommendation letters process, because I know many of you during our conversations have had these questions. And then of course also learn about the University of Southern Maine, and then be in touch with PJ Singh. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer your queries, email you, and be in getting to know you as well. So thank you so much, Prabjot. I wish you a
Absolute
great
pleasure.
day. Please take care and stay safe, and connect with you very soon.
Absolutely, man. Take care.
Thank you
See you
so much.
guys.
Bye everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.